Hi, everyone. Glad to be part of this big event. And I wanted to talk about Linux command line tips and tricks. Not sure that will be useful for you guys, but maybe for someone. So yeah, what this talk will about, some introduction. What is Linux section? I dropped because I think it's not unrelated here. Then we'll talk about shells, specifically Bash more, and about like Bash scripts, one-liners, and some possibly maybe tricks and tips. And yeah, about myself, my name is Vladimir. I've been in IT for 24 years. Was born in Tallinn, Estonia, and joined IT in 2001. So my work was right away with Linux, and I was working as technical support guy and an administrator. After 2 years, I switched to development, and at the age of 29, moved to the neighbor country, Latvia. And last 14 years, I've been working in Zabbix. By the way, who knows Zabbix? Oh, quite a lot of guys. That's glad. I'm glad. That's good. So just to give you an idea how far it's from North Carolina. Usually when people ask where you're from and I tell them they still have no idea, I say, I'm near Finland. Then they say, okay, so that top above us is Finland. That's more known country. That's the territorial size of North Carolina, Latvia, and Estonia. Like even North Carolina is 2 times bigger. Population is even worse. But at least Latvia gets the first place of the land area per person. Yay. We have a lot of space. What Estonia is famous for, this country is actually very good at IT. And the companies like Skype, TransferWise, and Bolt were founded in Estonia, and then just they were bought. Then we have the 1920. There was a Olympics winner in weightlifting, small weight, and also in 2005, Estonia was the first country to introduce internet voting. As for Latvia, mostly it's the sportic things, and but this year we managed to get an Oscar, which is crazy for such a small country as Latvia, for the animated movie called Flow, or in Latvian it's called Straume. About Zabbix, it's open source, was released first version in 2001, so 24 years already, and the first license was GPL version 2 right away. And the company was established after 4 years with the same name. And now we have grown to 150 employees in 5 locations, including Latvia, Japan, Brazil, Mexico, and France. And last year, we moved from GPL version 2 to a Fero license. So Zabbix features agent and agentless monitoring is distributed. Everything is automated, no need for the manual work, and we have some visualization, and Zabbix is actually highly customizable. If something is not there, you can use scripts or binaries used in 160 countries. We have a huge community also. So how do we earn money then? Right? Yeah. It appears that technical support is very is a thing that is asked very much, and people are happy to save money by not instead of maintaining their monitoring themselves. It's cheaper to sometimes to outsource it to us and pay just an annual fee, or like use the consulting or train their people to do monitoring in an efficient way. And also we provide the turnkey solutions and integrations with different kind of other software. For example, you have some custom ticketing system. It's not supported out of the box, but we can build this integration for you for a small amount. And recently, we introduced service called Zabbix Cloud. So now it's possible to have your monitoring in the cloud. So I only left this one. I really recommend, if you haven't seen these two movies, documentary movies about Linux, both released in 2001. The Code and Revolution OS, really great movies, even till now. So, if there would be no operating system and they would tell you, write application that reads text file and outputs contents to the screen. And there is no operating system. This is the tasks that you would have to accomplish. You talk to SATA controller directly. You use the ATA commands. You handle the direct memory access, and then you write the raw data from disk, and then somehow translate it using the, depending on the file system that is on the disk, translate it to the text. And now you're ready to write it to the screen. Huge amount of work, and because of the operating system nowadays, it's just 3 lines of code: open, read, write. That's it. So thanks to the operating system developers, you saving us a lot of work. Thanks a lot. So that's why operating system exists, and it provides basically services to the users. And shell is a thing that also is an interface that provides services to the user. I mean, sorry, shell provides a way to communicate users with the kernel services. And first shell was released in 1971. It wasn't at all advanced. It was basically for running the commands. And then Bourne shell was released in 6 years. That one could do some serious things. And then C shell and others were released. And the shells were getting better and better. And the Revolution shell in 1989 was developed by Brian Fox. Born Again shell, which is Bash, still the most popular, I think, from them all. And all those modern shells, they still are compatible with a Bourne shell, SH. But shell doesn't mean it's something command line. The GUI also is a shell, just that instead of using a keyboard, you use the mouse to click things. So let's start with a Bash configuration files. For the personal usage, it's basher C on for all distributions. But if you talk about global configuration file, it differs depending on the distribution. You often type the same commands again and again, ls, and it is saved to the bash history, right? And it's annoying to scroll up, to hit the arrow up every time. You can disable this. Bash has an environment variable called HISTCONTROL, which supports 3 values: ignore duplicates, ignore commands that start with a space, or ignore both. If you set it to ignore duplicates, then as you can see, consecutive same commands are ignored, and the screen didn't fit somehow reason, but ls is only once there listed. And if you set it to ignore space, as you can see, pwd command has space between it, so it was ignored by history. And enabling it is easy. Just add this line to your basher C, and you don't have duplicates anymore. There are some other options to control history size and changing history file, but that's probably useless. Bash has aliases. Alias is when you define your own command, which executes another command with certain parameters. For example, less alias to me makes sense because by default, less does not support colorful output. And why wouldn't you want it enabled all the time? So if you use less-R, it will process colors nicely. So for example, I always have alias less-R. Another useful to me alias is L. For listing files, we list files a lot. Probably this is known to everybody, but I use it sometimes with combination of TR. That's the reverse order by modification time. For example, if you have directory with a huge amount of files, for example, you downloaded some new file and you forgot what's the file name, if you use -tr, it will come last, and it's easier to find it. Another thing, I use aliases for cleaning the leftovers. And for example, I like to use rm with -v. Then you can see what was actually removed. So going through the history, yeah, you can use history command to find what was that command that you're looking for, but it's not very efficient. We probably all use Ctrl+R, but for those that didn't know, if you hit Ctrl+R, Bash would request for the pattern in your history, and you hit Ctrl+R again to the next match, and finally you can see the command that you were looking for. It didn't fit again, but then you hit Enter, and that command will be run. There are other Bash sequences, Ctrl+S and Ctrl+Q, which control the output that is printed to the screen. So Ctrl+S will stop output if you, for example, cut huge file, the output is going, and you want to stop it. Ctrl+S will stop it, and it will pause printing to the screen. It's useful, for example, if you don't want to hit Ctrl+C to completely ignore what was going on there. You can pause it, and in order to continue, Ctrl+Q, resume output. This might be useful when you accidentally hit Ctrl+S and you notice that everything is hanged in your screen. You can do anything. Ctrl+C doesn't work. No combinations will work until you click Ctrl+Q. So if you notice your screen completely frozen, try -Q. Try Ctrl+Q. And you can disable this behavior with this command. And then Ctrl+S and Ctrl+Q will be ignored. Clearing the screen is easy. You type the command clear. Or there's a shortcut, Ctrl+L. But sometimes it doesn't work if your screen got garbled completely. You hit Ctrl+L, you run command clear, and it's still messed up. Then use reset. For example, yeah, if you cut dev random, then it might get really bad. It can even screw your command line, and then reset fixes that. So if you forgot what is the user you're running under, there's a command, special command for that, who am I? Or you can output the environment variable user, or use ID with or without some options. And last log will tell you when the user was last logged in. If you forgot what's your shell, there's a shell variable called shell. And also, the default shell will be in etc password. And to change your shell, use this command, chsh, change default shell. If you forgot where you're located, pwd command will tell you print working directory. Also, there is a special variable for that. You can use that. But be careful, if you can screw up this variable, and pwd will still print you the correct directory where you are located, but the variable will still be incorrect. In order to fix it, use that command. So if you forgot where you are located geographically, then you can check the time zone on your system. Different commands for Debian and Red Hat. But if you use systemd, then there's a unique systemd tool called time data control. If you want to know where you were previously, there's a variable called old working directory. So environment knows where you are and where you were. And if you want to go back, you can use cd dash. A dash is not a regular argument. It's specifically meant for cd. And basically, it says go to previous directory. It will not work with other utilities. It's specific to cd. But if you it's not visible. If you screw up this variable, cd will try to actually go not to real previous directory, but to the value of this variable, and it will fail. So just wanted to show this glitch. Like with environment variables, if we put username equals John to echo, we're basically telling, hey, run echo in the environment that has this variable username. So we do, and there is nothing. How can this be? If we put colon, it works. Yeah, because we define a session variable. And then, of course, our session knows about it, and that means echo knows about it. So what's going on here? Yes, we really set the environment variable for echo. But before running the command, our current session is expanding the arguments, meaning this username equals $username. And since our current session does not know about this variable, it's basically changing the arguments to username equals. And then the command basically begins like this. So that's why we get empty result. Sometimes it's useful to know. And if you really want to this to work, then that will work. If you define this environment variable for sh, then it will pass it along to echo, of course. That will work. The last line is lost again, but okay. Where else you can go? cd without parameters will get you to the home directory. Another alternative, you can use cd home environment variable or cd tilde, and tilde is not specific to cd as the dash. It's handled by shell itself, and it can work with other utilities. You can go to parent directory with double dot or stay where you are with one dot, which is not useful, but it exists. If you forgot where your file is, you can use locate, a really useful thing. It's not installed by default, so you need to install it with Debian uses plocate, Red Hat uses mlocate. It's based on the database, so you have to create it if you want to use it right away, or they provide a cron job that does it for you at night, and then you can use that. Maybe just not everybody knows that locate has ignore case option, really useful, and also it has regex option. So how locate works, they create this index of, they scan all the file system and create this index, huge index, and then locate works like in milliseconds, but the format is specific. It's not like SQLite or something. You cannot read it, and it's compressed. And if you have a lot of files and locate is working slowly, check out maybe if you lose locate, then move to plocate. It's more advanced and will work faster. Although, like directory permissions, everybody knows that ls-l file is good, but what happens when you want to list permissions of a specific directory? Var-lib MySQL is directory. If you run this, then you will get permissions of the files inside the MySQL directory. That's not what you want. So, of course, we're smart, so we list the var-lib and grep MySQL, right? But then we get much of stuff that we don't want, because MySQL also matches user and other files. Okay, we're smart, so we add $, at the end, right? So finally, it works. It looks ugly, but it works. But if we enable colors, it stopped working. Because if we use colors, then after the MySQL bash needs to disable colors by adding some sequences. But so be aware that ls has -d option. It's not visible, but there is down explanation that -d is list directory permissions itself, not its contents. And you then don't have to play with these patterns, and you can use colors and whatnot. So example of securing a file. Make sure if you have some secret file that it's not readable to the world. That initial permissions of newly created files is controlled by a thing called umask, and it basically tells what to subtract from default 666 with files and 777 with directories. So that's how we get this 644. And as we can see, our file is created with permissions 644. The first bit is actually is also possible to configure, but nobody is using it. But you can disable some stuff like sticky bits, set group ID, and set user ID bits with that. So let's demonstrate. If we want newly created files only readable by owner and no other permissions, we use a mask 0266, and as you can see, that means 666 minus 266 is 400, and 400 is exactly this. That can be used sometimes. So for secret files, disable the read for world. And if you don't want to deal with the 6 zeros, 2s, and those digits, you can use a human readable way of setting that. Chmod understands this kind of thing, user group and others, and you don't have to specify all of them every time. You can just add permissions to group or remove permissions from the group.
Could you use chmod syntax with umask?
Sorry?
Can you use chmod syntax with umask?
Which text?
Can you use the chmod
Chmod.
with umask?
No, umask is oh, the text with with umask. Good one. I don't know actually. Yeah, that's a good point. Need to check later. Yeah, imagine that we have the secret file. It's secured, all good, but owned by root. So if we try to write there, we get error. So we use sudo, and it's still not working. What the hell going on? So sudo echo, all good, but it's not working. Yeah, it will not work because the redirection is handled before sudo is even called. So your current session, when it sees that command, will check, do I have the permissions to write to this file? No, I don't, because before sudo. And that's it. And it's printing, it's not even trying to execute sudo. If you encounter a situation like this, use the command name t. T is a really simple command that is reading the standard input and outputting standard output, and optionally into the file. So for these things, exactly, the T command needs to be used because you can prepend sudo to it. So echo doesn't need to to run with the privileges, but sudo needs. So and then it works. So besides permissions, Linux also offers so-called attributes of the files. It's not much used, but it exists. So first of all, yeah, permissions are absolutely independent of the attributes. You can think that permissions are keys to the cabinet with documents, and attributes are instructions on those documents, something like that. There are a lot of attributes known to the kernel. You can list them using command lsattr. As you can see, 22 attributes are known to Linux. But mostly, I think it's the E flag is used from the attributes, which means immutable. If you set this attribute to a file, even if you have all the rights, like write permissions and stuff like that, you won't be able to modify, delete, or to link to this file. So you do it like that. You use chatter, which means change attributes, +E file. For example, in this case, we set immutable flag on etc path with the file. That means that we cannot add users, we cannot remove users, we cannot modify users. And that's shown here. Like even with sudo, we're root, we cannot add because there's immutable flag on the file. That can be tricky if people don't know about attributes. There's down something else. And to remove this flag, you issue sudo chatter -e. That line that's not visible. And again, this is changing this flag is only allowed by root. If you are some kind of user and you want to set +E attribute to your file, it won't allow. You have to be root to manipulate the I attribute. So some common flags: I immutable, A like you can only append the data to the file. You cannot shrink it. You can only add. Interesting feature. Or you can disable the updates of the access time when accessing the file. Or you can enable compression, like file will be always compressed and decompressed when read. Or you can enable the secure deletion, which means when you delete the file, the bytes will actually, the bits will be actually zeroed. But I tried the compression thing on my file system and it didn't work. So I was looking why. It appeared that my file system was not compiled with the compress feature, which is responsible for this C flag. So make sure to check what your file system supports, how it was compiled before using that flags. They may not work. So the flag will be set, but it will not work. So I could set the C flag, but it wasn't working. The file wasn't compressed. I checked that. And then I realized that it is compiled without, the file system is compiled without support for compress. So about scripting a little bit. So sometimes the one-liner gets too long, and you understand that I need to script it. So when you start script, first thing you write is the shebang. Well, what is that thing? Basically, that's a pass-through interpreter that tells kernel, come on, use that interpreter for the following code. And that's why we don't need to prepend our script with this interpreter. Basically, it's just a thing that makes our life easier. You can actually remove it and then call it with bash and then your code. It will work. But if you try to execute your script, oh, we forgot to set the executable flag, so we do it, and wow, it shouldn't be working, but it worked. How come? We didn't specify bash, but it worked. What's going on? So it appeared that when there is no shebang, Linux is trying to run the script with the current shell that you're using right now. And still, since we're using bash, it worked. So if you consider this Perl script without a shebang, this won't work. Okay, we forgot to chmod +X. And if we do that, so now Linux is trying to, kernel is trying to run our code with the current bash shell, and bash doesn't understand this syntax. With Perl and file, it will work. So yeah, commonly the bash scripts start with bin bash, but actually many other operating systems have bash in different paths. For example, the macOS has in opt homebrew something, and some Unixes might have it in user local bin bash. So your script will not work. So what is the correct way of specifying a shebang? That one. You tell env to find bash. And That might also not work on some specific cases, but usually the end is in user bin, and this actually became de facto portable way of locating interpreters like Bash, Python, and Perl. So that might be really useful thing. Let's use that. Echo hello world works, all good. So I'll demonstrate like a simple script that takes 2 arguments. The script to backup file takes 2 arguments. One argument, file to backup, and another argument, directory, target directory to back it up. And it's optional, the second parameter optional, and default it's home backup. If target directory does not exist, let's create it. That's it. So we start our script. We provided a good shebang. Okay. So now we need to check if we have first parameter or not. If we do it like this, then when we call our script with first parameter, it's all good. When we call our script without first parameter, we get a syntax error because $1 disappears. It's not good. So we need to add, basically, when you need to check the parameter, use -z, which means zero-sized string. It actually will work even without double quotes, which surprised me. But it cannot work. It may not work in all the cases. So it's recommended to always put in the double quotes the variable. Now let's do it the correct way. Okay. So we are missing the first variable. Make sure to print a good error message so that user understands really why the script failed. That's very important. You can use $0 to refer to the script itself that was run. And make sure to exit with non-zero result in this case. It's really bad to exit without a parameter here. Without a parameter, the exit code will be 0, which is not good. So now that we can work with first parameter, we don't want to work with $1 the whole script. We set it to some variable. Then we read second variable, and that might be empty also. So we already know how to deal with it, -z, and in double quotes our variable. And if it's empty, we don't print error and exit. We set it to default. So next thing is to create our directory. mkdir has really nice -p option. Not only it creates all the directories that are missing in the path, like one by one, it also is not failing if directory already exists. Then we copy the file and produce the successful message. So let's check how our script works. Without the parameter, we get a nice usage message, and we get the non-zero exit code. And why is it important to have the non-zero exit code? Because we can do something like this. For example, we put our backup script to the cron job, and we don't want the default usage message in case it fails. We want some custom message, for example, that says when it failed, something like that. Without exit 1, this wouldn't be possible. And now we can make sure that if only one parameter is specified, then it's saved to default. If 2 parameters, it's saved to TMP. All good now. But what if we specify our script with a non-existent file? It says CP error and then successfully saved. Not good. We forgot the error handling. So after we do the copy, we need to check the exit code of the CP file, and then do this exit 1 thing. Okay, it works. We don't see the backup saved too, so we exited, but too much information. We can shrink that check to like if not CP means like if CP fails, so we don't need to check this dollar question mark. And we don't need this extra message. CP will print the error if it fails always. So that's better. That's better. And we need to do that for every place. That's looks like not very nice, right? It's better than two text, but still not very good. So yeah, we can do just use this double pipe or thing. So we do the mkdir, and if that fails, we will get the error message, and the exit one will run because first the left part failed, then the right part needs to be run, and we exit one. Oh, that's much better. Okay, that works, but we are still lazy. We don't even want to do that. So there's bash feature called R exit option, or exit on error, set -e, and after that set -e, any program that fails will make bash exits that script with the error code of that command. That's it. So we don't need to do any error handling anymore. If we don't have permissions to create directory, as you can see, we don't have the successful message all worked, and echo dollar question mark is produces 1. That works until we start using pipes. By default, set -e works in a way that it checks only the last command through the pipeline. If last command failed, then the error is produced. But first command false will fail, second one true will succeed, so the script will continue running. Not good. We want also anything between the pipe. If it failed, then to exit. Then there is option set -o pipe fail, and now if you run it again, there is no continue with the script message. So any command between those pipes, if that fails, we can execute if pipe fail is enabled. Sometimes you need to debug your script. You get the error like line 12, something not good, and you don't understand what's going on. There is a nice feature of bash called xtrace, which is enabled with set -x. And then it will show for each line the substituted command that bash is actually running. And you will see that you forgot to double quote the variable because there is -z and the white space in the backup directory. And make sure to use functions because you will get less lines and the messages will be consistent. Because, yeah, for debug, dbg, for message, msg, and for error, it's really nice when you look to the output. Catching signals, if you don't want the user to use Ctrl+C when the script is running, or you want to do something when user hit Ctrl+C, there are so-called traps. So you can tell bash, hey, start listening to the this and this signal, int term in this case, and when you get that signal, run this command, or in this case function, it doesn't matter, cleanup 1, and when there will be a signal, bash will finish currently running instruction and then put in the what you define with trap, just clean up with parameter 1, and parameter 1 will make the script exit 1, and then bash will continue with the instructions. But since it got exit, it won't continue in this case. Really, really useful thing. Whenever you're dealing with the strings, many people use like tr and other stuff to like get part of the string or make the letters upper or lower, don't do it. Don't use pipes. You have the built-in operations like here for the capitalizing, uppercasing, and lowercasing the string, for example. Or you have the ability to take the, you can remove the shortest or longest match from the beginning or from the end. Also using that syntax. Don't like to pipe sed and stuff like that in that cases. So for example, we have the file report, and in first case, we remove the shortest match from the end, and we get file name without extension. In the second case, we remove the longest match from the beginning, and we get just the extension. There is also thing like a brace expansion in Zabbix. It works like this or like this, and it's useful when you, for example, have files with a different ending. You don't want to screw this up. You can use this thing like a list in the braces, and you don't have to specify this left part again and again. I guess we're soon out of time, right? So yeah, there's this special variable called random. Once me and my colleague Gleb, we were told someone of us is going to India for the work. We both wanted to go, so we ran this program. So this one-liner to decide who will go. So I went for 2 weeks. Yeah, and yeah, we decided with this one-liner. So it works. You can use it, for example, for defining in sleep command. You want to tell it sleep between 1 and 5 seconds, for example. And this double braces is for arithmetic evaluations, basically arithmetic evaluations inside. And the dollar is needed when you need the return result. If you don't need the return result, use it without dollar. But the funny thing is that without a dollar, it evaluates the expression, and if expression is non-zero, then the exit code will be 0. If expression evaluates to 0, the exit code will be non-zero. It's yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, if you need yeah, and actually you can do assignments inside. They will also work. And if you need the return value, then you just add dollar. Should I like wrap up? I guess that's it. Do we have more time? No. Yeah. So sorry, I have no more time. So thank you very much.